Thank you, Shanna. Good morning, everyone. What a beautiful sight this is to see all of these new faces. Just blows my mind. I sit up here on 10:30. I'm looking and thinking, oh, are they coming? And I turn around and here you all are. I am Reverend Cindy Grimes, and I just want to say welcome and thank you all for joining us this morning. I'm so excited to see so many new faces. What our new people don't know is that a lot of our regulars are not here this morning. We had to do a lot of switch up right at the last minute, and I just congratulate my team. Shanna, what a gorgeous, beautiful job you did. Thank you so much. Thank you, Grady and Renee, for doing the welcome. Again, just they're like, boom, they just walked right into it. And Reverend Marita Graves, thank you so much for that lovely invocation and for inviting so many people this morning. So excited. Woo! You must know this is going to be a fun day today. That's why you all showed up. We are talking conscious creation, conceiving, birthing, and nurturing ideas. Centers for Spiritual Living has created kind of a curriculum for the ministers and the churches that choose to participate in that. So every month is a different topic. It's one of the values, one of the things that we hold dear in Centers for Spiritual Living. So this month we've been talking about creativity. That was leading off of last month where we talked about evolution and transformation. So last week being Mother's Day, my topic was, of course, on mothers, and it was called the Mother of Manifestation. And I decided to talk about the archetype of the Divine Mother. Again, talking about some of the holidays are a little difficult sometimes to speak to because you've got people coming from all different backgrounds, and some of them had wonderful mothers, and some of them had terrible mothers, and some didn't know who their mothers were, and so it brings up all kinds of feelings and things like that. So I thought I'd talk about the Divine Mother and what that archetype is. And these two pictures, I think, kind of exemplify what that is. The figure on the left is Shakti, and she is, in the Hindu tradition, the Divine Mother as everything that's good. That's the mother who is wonderful, who gets her joy out of the accomplishments of her children, and she is nurturing and loving and fabulous. And in the big picture of the Divine Mother, the good mother is also exemplified by Mother Mary, who is virginal of all things. Oh, you've got to wrap your mind around that one. But that's how good she is. Then we have, on the flip side of that, we have the other kind of mother, who is like, for those of you who are as old as me or older, remember that commercial there was with the, I can't believe it's not butter. You remember that? And and the little character would say, it's not nice to fool Mother Nature. And you know, that's the Mother Nature that can open that big old can of you know what and whip your booty. That's the mother who said, I brought you into this world and I can take you out. Right? That's the flip side of the mother. That is the destructive part of mother and creation. Now, both of these are necessary. Both of these are part of creation. We have the creation that is nurturing, but there are times, as we know, where sometimes we have to destroy something. Sometimes we have to let things go. Sometimes we need to create the space for something new to come in. So they are both very valuable parts of creation. Then I shared the story of how Mother's Day came to be. And I think that was kind of surprising for a lot of you. I know it was for me. So I'll share that again. It's great that we've got a lot of visitors this morning because I get to retell that story a little. The woman who started Mother's Day was named Anna Jarvis. And she started it out of this tremendous love and respect she had for her own mother, who was a peace activist during the Civil War. This woman had parenting classes and would invite people from both sides of the spectrum, the Confederates and the Union, brought soldiers together, brought mothers together, just to heal the wounds that had been caused in the Civil War. So she created this idea of Mother's Day. She was just one of many. Hers was the one that actually took root, because she was so in love with this idea and so wanting to honor her mother that she created this thing, and she talked to politicians, and she finally got Woodrow Wilson to sign on and say, yes, we will make this a national holiday. So all this tremendous, wonderful stuff happened out of this love that she felt for her mother. And then something happened. Mother's Day became a little commercial. People were starting to make money off of it. The florists were making money, the card makers were making money. There were charities that were using it as a way to raise funds, and she got very upset. She got really angry, in fact, enraged. And then she went on this rampage after all of this wonderful work she did to get this holiday going, was she decided it needed to be destroyed. So she tried that for years and years, and eventually it ended up consuming her to the point where when this woman died, she died penniless, she died in an insane asylum, and literally blind. That's the cautionary tale aspect of this story, because creation is a powerful force. And we can unleash it for good, or we can unleash it for something else. And to me, she is that cautionary tale because, of course, when she started creating from that anger, from that place of rage, it ended up destructing her life. So this is the caution. This is what we want to be careful of, because we are creating all the time. All the time we are creating, and you want to be conscious of the space that you are in as you are creating. Ernest Holmes says it this way: life has entered into you, and my husband said yesterday, he said, sometimes you read the slides wrong. You want to make sure that you do them right. Planted the seed. So let me start that again. Life has entered into you, and with it, the irresistible urge to create. Create or perish is the eternal mandate of nature. We did not create this urge ourselves. It is part of who we are. It is because we were created in the image and likeness of the Creator. We are here to be that channel for creation. So we have to be very, very mindful of how it is that we create and the space that we're creating from. So how can you and I, how do we avoid becoming that cautionary tale? Again, Ernest, I believe, said it beautifully. Love harmonizes everything, unifies everything. It gives to everything, flows through everything. You can never make the most perfect use of the law of your life unless that use is motivated by love. That's from Ernest Holmes. See, the law doesn't care what you're putting into it. It's like the soil. You put a seed in the soil, it doesn't matter to the soil if that seed is going to grow poison ivy, or if it's growing oranges, or if it's growing apples. The law doesn't care what you put into it. It is going to produce what you plant, what you place. So be sure to grow, to plant the seeds of what it is you would like to see more of in your life. And if you're creating from this space of love, if you are in yourself in a space of love and peace and joy, that is what is going to manifest for you. Does that make sense for everyone? Great. So why talk about creation? Why conscious creation? Because there are probably some of you who are sitting in here who have that old idea of being creative and what creativity means, and think, well, if I can't paint, or if I'm not a poet, or I don't play music, I'm not creative. And that's not true at all. I want you, through this series, I hope that you're seeing an expanded idea of what it means to be a creator. And the fact is that our greatest creation that each and every one of us is creating right now is our lives. It is our lives. So we want to know how to use this incredible power, this incredible gift that we have in the best possible way. And that means you want to be conscious. You want to start paying attention to that. So again, why? Well, the fact is we are always creating, which I've already said that, right? We are in every moment creating. Who you are right now is a result of all that stuff that's happened to you in the past, all your thoughts, your ideas, the ideas of what you think you're living into. All of that has brought you to this point. But what is going to take you from here to the next place is the thoughts that you are putting in place right now. Those seeds that you are planting right now in your life is what is going to determine what comes next for you. So we are always creating. The other reason to talk about conscious creation is because evolution and change require new solutions. Now, if you were here last month, you saw those videos that I posted about how we are now changing as a society, as culture, in exponential terms. I mean, it's just incredible the amount of change that's happening. All you have to do is turn on the news and know that we are right now in tremendous change and evolution. And that can be a scary thing. You know, that can shake us from our grounding and our feeling of stability, because things are changing so constantly. And it's not just nationally. I know lots of you right now are going through changes in your own life. Right? Things are changing at a rapid, rapid rate. So you want to know how to navigate that change in the best possible way, and to do it again in a conscious way. And finally, you can't see it's cut off down there, it's fun. Creation is fun. Don't you all love to create something new where there's been nothing and you get an idea and all of a sudden it's there? I used to publish a parenting magazine, and I would start with an idea of something, and it just was always so gratifying and fun to see at the end of the month the product, like there was something tangible, hands-on, that I could look at every month. Even when I do a talk, I have an idea, I'm not even always sure what it's going to be by Sunday morning. And sometimes it changes in the moment. But it's always fun. It's always a good time. Now, I've been doing some research on this, and I have a book that's been a lot of fun to read. It was one of the ones that was used in our ministerial program as we did a class on creativity. It's called A Whack on the Side of the Head, How You Can Be More Creative. And this gentleman makes toys, and he works with Fortune 500 companies and teaching them, their staff, how to be more creative. His name is Roger von Oech, O-E-C-H. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But here's something he says. A reason for generating ideas is that it's a lot of fun. Indeed, I like to think of creative thinking as the sex of our mental lives. Yes, I said that word. I like to think of creative thinking as the sex of our mental lives. Think about that. Ideas, like organisms, have a life cycle. They are born, they develop, they reach maturity, and they die. So we need a way to generate new ideas. Creative thinking is that means, and just like its biological counterpart, it's also pleasurable. Isn't that fun? So we're going to have fun this morning. Now you all know my metaphor for the day, which is why I was a little nervous to have so many first-time visitors. It's a little different this morning, like it always is. All right. So now we get into the how. How is it that we create consciously? We talked about the why, the necessity for doing it, and the fact that we're doing it all the time. But now, how do we do that? How do we channel that? And some of these things, I'm probably not going to share anything with you that is really earth-shattering, again, because we are always creating. But sometimes it's just the understanding of how the process works that gives you that power over how to navigate it, how to use it more effectively. So the first thing you want to do is develop your awareness. Because we're creating consciously, there are sometimes things that happen where, it's time for a change. This just isn't working out anymore. Okay? The home isn't working out, maybe the job isn't working out, the relationship, or I just got to find a new way to get home because there's traffic, in the place I usually go. So we use creativity in a lot of different ways. So develop your awareness of where it is that you might want to give it a little different twist. Look at things from another angle. And it could be because there's a problem, so you want to identify whatever that challenge is or that desire that you have for change, for something new that could use that creativity. And then, of course, you want to create from love, joy, fun, passion, etc. Because again, if that's the space that you're creating from, if you're creating from love, then whatever you create is going to be infused with that love. If you're creating from joy, if you're creating from passion, if you're creating from excitement and enthusiasm, that's what's going to be infused with your creation. That's what is going to infuse your creation. So, number one, developing an awareness of what it is that you want to change. And then we have to go with our metaphor. Preparation and conception. Preparation. What is that all about? An idea is nothing more nor less than a new combination of old elements. Really and truly, there is nothing new under the sun. Everything that you could possibly need to create anything you want in your life already exists. Everything. All of the raw materials are there. Creativity comes from taking those raw materials and combining them in different ways that maybe hadn't been thought of before. Now we have this, I think this is also a great example here of the abundance of the universe. Because here we have this egg and the sperm that come together, but there's only one that makes it. And how many thousands of those little guys are swimming to that finish line? I meant to check to find out the number, but I know it's a lot of them. And only one gets used in that final product. How about that? The creative act uncovers, selects, reshuffles, combines, and synthesizes already existing facts, faculties, and skills. See, that's what the creative act is doing. It's bringing together different aspects. You know, think of, for those of you who are married, have children, think of how many billion people there are on this planet, and you chose that one person, right, to procreate with, to have your children with, and it was only that combination of people and that combination of DNA that had to come together to create your children, to create you, in fact. Because we're all here from that same process. How amazing is that? It is quite incredible. And that comes from Jack Foster, who's another person who writes on creativity. So that's the second step. You want to prepare, you want to gather all of your resources. The third step in creativity then is incubation. So you've got your idea, you have what it is that you want to, an idea for what it is that you're needing to create or that you would like to bring into existence. You've gathered all your raw materials. Now it just kind of has to settle. It comes together like when you put that seed in the soil. It doesn't manifest overnight, does it? No, it's got to sit there for a while. And depending on what it is that you're creating, the gestation time is different. Some plants can sprout seemingly overnight or within a couple of days. There are other things like bamboo. I found, what was it, Renee, like, I don't know, years. The stuff stays underground and it looks like nothing is happening, just stays dormant. And when it starts to grow, boom, it shoots up into the air. You can literally watch this stuff grow. But it has gone through this period of incubation where it's collecting and gathering all the nutrients and everything that it needs for the final manifestation. And that's what happens during this incubation period. The creative mind is the mind that looks for unexpected greatness. Now let me explain that, and I'll use again an example from my life. When I had the magazine and I would be working on the month, let's say we're working on May, which was Mother's Day, of course. People would send in different articles and I would catch little bits on the news and just whatever it was that was happening. And I'd end up with this whole group of stuff, all of these things to put together. And then the thing was to decide, well, what am I going to use and what are the pictures that are going to go with it and all of that. And by the time, and I never really knew what the whole theme of it was going to be. Very much again, like when I'm putting together a Sunday talk, I pull all the pieces together, and as I'm looking at it, suddenly it's like a common thread comes out of the whole thing. So the last thing I would write was my editorial. When I do a Sunday talk, the last thing I do is our affirmation, because I have to wait till it all comes together to then say, what is it that I want for us to affirm? That's just my process. Everybody does it differently. But what I'm doing in that process is looking for that common thread, looking for that unifying force, looking for that thing that is going to pull it all together and make it one, right? That one solution, that thing that is going to work. And I don't know how it's going to be. It's almost magical, right? Very much like this process, of incubation is that. And I've got 2 new grandbabies. And it's been so wonderful going through all of that. Yes, and you all saw them. Those of you who were here last week saw the babies. And it just was so wonderful to watch as the mamas were getting, they're growing and growing, and there was all this excitement, and we're wondering, what are they going to look like? Are they going to look like our side of the family? Are they going to look like the other side? And the first one came, he looked just like my 3 kids. Could have been any one of them. The dark hair and the beautiful eyes, just just adorable. And then the other one came, and we looked at like, wow, he looks different. Just as cute, but in a whole different way. He's blonde. He's real fair. It's like, this kid needs some sun. But you just never know what's going to happen in that incubation process, how it's going to all come together. But there will be that unifying thing, because this is what mind does. It pulls together what is like and what is unified, which is also just a great thing to use in life in general. I also did sales for a long time. You know, anybody who's ever done sales, you know, you want to find the commonality. You want to find that common ground with somebody else so they can relate to you, so they will speak to you, so you can have relationship. So many of us are trained, and I don't know if it's maybe a societal thing, that we look for differences. And it's real easy to see differences. You know, we look different. We may enjoy different music or different religions or whatever that is. So it's real easy to find the differences. Sometimes it takes a little more to find that thing that unifies us. But again, that's part of the creative process. You want to create new friendships, you want to create a new life in a new community, you go and you find the things that are common. Right? There's that common thread that runs through all of it, that brings that oneness and wholeness into being. So third step is incubation. And then we have that, all the ideas have come together, and you could be just walking or taking a shower, or you in a dream, falling asleep, and all of a sudden you have that aha moment. It's here. This is my solution. This is what I needed. Out of nowhere, the idea appears. Right? The light. In fact, in Spanish, I was thinking that kind of was like maybe the baby coming out of the womb. Seeing the light there at the end of the tunnel. And in Spanish, we say that when a mother gives birth, vida is da luz, which means she gives light. She gives light. Right? To give birth is to give light. I just think that's amazing. So that moment of illumination. And I'm sorry this is cut off here. I'll read it from the back. It says, the explosion, the mental insight, the sudden leap beyond logic, beyond the usual stepping stones to normal solutions. That's what happens when you have that moment of insight. Now, when we are logical, in our logical mind, you go step by step by step. Step A leads to B, leads to C, leads to D, and then you might have your solution. That's not the kind of creation that I'm talking about. I'm talking the one that just drops into your mind, like it's just all of a sudden it's there. Does everyone have that? You have those moments of just, wow, now I know. Sometimes I have a topic, let's say I'm talking about creativity again, and I'm going the whole week just wondering, well, when is this going to come? And the ideas are coming here, there, and I'll be walking out at one of the beautiful trails here, and all of a sudden the idea just shows up. There it is, like all in one moment, it just drops into my head. And then I can go home and put it to paper. That's how it works. That's how it works. But you have to be able to let it go and trust that process of incubation, that during that time when it looks like maybe nothing is happening, that it's doing its work. And then it allows you to have this incredible aha moment, which is like a quantum leap. It's a quantum leap. It's something that is created that maybe it was even beyond what you thought it might be. So that's the fourth step, which is illumination, or that birth. And then finally, the last piece of consciously creating is then nurturing and developing your creation. Now, I get lots and lots of ideas, because that's my affirmation. It's one of the things I have said for years. Ideas come to me easily and effortlessly. Now, what happens when you get a lot of ideas like that, and you tend to be a creative person, is you get this great idea, and you go running over here to follow it. And then you get another idea, and you go over there. And my husband can tell you how many different businesses I started and tried, because I got so excited about all of them, all these great ideas. So then I had to add a piece to it saying, okay, I get all these great ideas, but now I also have the wisdom to know which ones are mine to follow. Which are the ones that are for me to expand my life in the way that I choose, in the way that I want. So I'm not pulled here, there, and everywhere. Now, there are people who get lots of great ideas too, and they think, this is the idea, that's my $1 million idea, I'm not sharing it with anyone. And then we hoard our ideas. Anybody do that? Or we know people like that? I'm going to hold my idea because this is mine. Well, if it's not yours to give, then you've created a blockage, so to speak, in your flow. Because creativity needs to flow, just like everything else in your life needs to flow. We live it's the law of life, really, is circulation, to keep things going. So you get these great ideas, you use them, and if you don't use them, give them to someone else. Right? Don't let it just die because you think it's so wonderful. If it is a wonderful idea, give it to somebody else and let them do something with it. Right? We don't want to hoard even our ideas. We don't want to hoard anything. Keep it in flow, keep it in circulation. And then what happens is that the universe knows that you are a place through which ideas and creativity can flow. And so those ideas come in, and you let them out, and new ones come in, and you give those, and they keep on going, and it keeps on going. So you never get stuck. So the real key to being creative lies in what we do with our knowledge. Some of your ideas are meant to be taken and to do something with them. Other ones are going to be like those little spermies that didn't make the final cut. You know, it's just part of it's how the universe works. The universe creates from this space of abundance where there's so much more than we ever need. So you take what you need and you let go of the rest. Not everything is meant for you to do or take to the next level. But it does matter which ones you choose to take to the next level. The real key to being creative lies in what we do with our knowledge. Now, if you get great ideas, you don't do anything with them, that's a waste. That's a waste. So do something with your ideas. Is that helpful for anyone? So what the steps are, we're talking be aware. Be aware of what your challenge may be, the area that you want to bring creativity of your life. Be on the lookout for that. The next step was what? Do you remember? Preparation. Preparation. That's where you're gathering all of your resources from all different areas. Could be from what you're watching, could be from where you're out walking, what you're hearing, what somebody says to you, what you're reading. All these different things are part of that preparation of gathering your resources. Then the third step, once you've got all of your resources pulled together, is incubation. Incubation. It's got to take time to kind of settle. Percolate. Sometimes I say that too, like your coffee pot, it takes a little while, it's got to percolate through. It's incubating, it's developing. Don't worry about it when it's in that phase. Just let it do its thing. Don't go digging up the seed. Let me see, is it growing? Does it have shoots yet? Does it have roots? No, you let it sit. Let it sit and do its thing. Then you have the illumination, right? That moment of insight, of illumination, that moment of birth. And the last step is what you do with it. Doing something. Take action with whatever that is. So, altogether, this is our affirmation, and maybe you can see it now in a different way and bring some more enthusiasm to it. And I invite you to use these throughout the week. If there's one that really speaks to you, snip it out of the program, put it on your refrigerator, or put it in your car where you can see it. All together. I am a conscious creator. Ideas come to me with effortless ease. I act on the ones that are mine to do and generously share the rest. And so it is. All right. Oh, I was wondering who's going to come up here and sing next.